Think about it for a moment. How do you typically start your mornings? Are you immediately reaching for your phone, scrolling through an endless feed of perfectly filtered lives, meticulously curated vacations, and overnight success stories? Or are you taking those precious first moments to center yourself, express gratitude, and set powerful intentions for the day ahead? Have you ever noticed how some days seem blessed from the moment you open your eyes, while others feel like you're swimming upstream against a relentless current? What if I told you the difference between these two experiences might be determined in the first 5 minutes after you wake up? The truth is, those first conscious moments after waking are incredibly potent. They're like the foundation of a house. Everything you build throughout your day rests upon them. When you begin your morning by comparing your sleepy, authentic self to someone's highlight reel, you're essentially programming your mind for lack, for not enough, before your feet even touch the floor. Has this ever happened to you? You wake up feeling relatively neutral, perhaps even good, but after just 5 minutes of scrolling, you suddenly feel behind in life, like everyone else has figured out some secret formula for success that somehow eluded you. That's not coincidence. That's the power of your morning energy being hijacked. What most people don't realize is that our minds are extraordinarily receptive in those early morning hours. It's like fertile soil ready to be planted with whatever seeds you choose. Plant seeds of comparison, worry, and overwhelm, and watch how quickly those emotions bloom throughout your day. But plant seeds of gratitude, abundance, and possibility. Stay with me until the end to discover how dramatically different your life can become. The universe operates on energy. This isn't some mystical concept, but a scientific reality. Everything is energy vibrating at different frequencies. And gratitude? Gratitude happens to be one of the highest vibrational states we can achieve. When you begin your day in a state of genuine thankfulness, you're essentially broadcasting a powerful signal to the universe. More of this, please. What you're about to discover might surprise you, even shock you. The connection between your morning thoughts and the seemingly random events that unfold throughout your day isn't random at all. There's a direct, observable pattern between what you focus on when you first wake up and what manifests in your experience. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now, imagine waking up tomorrow morning, and instead of reaching for your phone, you reach for something much more powerful, a state of deep appreciation. Imagine feeling a wave of gratitude wash over you before you've even opened your eyes. Imagine setting an intention so clear, so vibrant, that the universe has no choice but to respond. This isn't fantasy. This is the reality that thousands have created using the exact morning ritual I'm about to share with you. This morning ritual isn't complicated or time-consuming. In fact, its power lies in its simplicity. When you first wake up, in those delicate moments between sleep and full consciousness, your mind exists in what psychologists call the alpha state, a unique threshold where your subconscious is extraordinarily receptive to new programming. This hidden truth explains why what you focus on during those first moments has such a profound impact on your entire day. Joseph Murphy, one of the greatest teachers of mental transformation, discovered this decades ago. He taught that what you focus on with genuine emotion expands exponentially in your experience. It's as if the universe is constantly asking, what frequency are you broadcasting? And then matching that frequency with remarkable precision. When you tune your heart to gratitude first thing in the morning, you're essentially setting the energetic thermostat for your entire day. Now, I want to be completely honest with you. This journey isn't always easy. There will be mornings when gratitude feels impossible. Perhaps you wake up to an overdue bill notification. Maybe your Facing relationship challenges that kept you tossing and turning all night. Or perhaps you're simply exhausted from chasing dreams that seem to be moving at a glacial pace. These struggles are real, and acknowledging them is part of an authentic mindset shift. Gratitude isn't about painting a false smile on your face and pretending everything is perfect when it clearly isn't. That's toxic positivity, and it doesn't work. True gratitude is about making a conscious decision to shift your focus, despite challenging circumstances, not denying reality, but choosing which aspects of reality you'll give your precious attention to. Think about it this way. Even on your worst day, your heart is beating without any conscious effort on your part. Your lungs are drawing in oxygen. The sun rose again. These miracles happen with such consistency that we've forgotten they're miracles at all. The real revelation comes when you realize you don't need to wait for your circumstances to improve before you can feel grateful. Gratitude itself is the catalyst that begins changing those very circumstances. The most powerful transformations often begin in our darkest moments. It's easy to be grateful when everything is going well. The real magic happens when you can find that thread of appreciation when everything seems to be falling apart. This isn't just spiritual wisdom. Neuroscience confirms that gratitude literally rewires your brain, creating new neural pathways that begin to seek out positivity rather than threats. Behind the scenes of every overnight success story is usually a morning ritual that centered them, grounded them, and aligned them with their deepest purpose. Many of the world's most impactful leaders, from business innovators to spiritual teachers, attribute their clarity and resilience to how they begin their day. If this message is resonating with you, write "Morning Miracle" in the comments below. I'd love to know who's ready to transform their mornings, and by extension, their entire life experience. Now, I want to go even deeper into the science behind why gratitude creates such a powerful shift in our experience and how you can harness this force even when your mind wants to resist it. When we talk about gratitude, we're not just exploring ancient wisdom or spiritual concepts. We're diving into cutting-edge neuroscience. Researchers have discovered something remarkable about the grateful brain. It literally changes on a biochemical level. When you practice gratitude, especially first thing in the morning, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the same happiness chemicals that are triggered when you eat your favorite food or receive an unexpected gift. This neurological phenomenon creates what scientists call a positive feedback loop. The more you practice gratitude, the more your brain becomes wired to seek out things to be grateful for. It's a beautiful example of neuroplasticity, your brain's incredible ability to rewire itself based on repeated experiences and thoughts. In essence, you're giving your mind a warm, nurturing cup of positivity before your actual morning coffee. But here's the breakthrough discovery that changed my entire perspective. This neurochemical boost isn't just making you feel good temporarily. It's actually enhancing your cognitive function, improving your decision-making capacity, and strengthening your resilience for whatever challenges the day might bring. Your brain operates differently when it's bathed in these positive neurochemicals. Problems that might have overwhelmed you seem more manageable. Creative solutions emerge more readily. Your entire perception shifts. Now, let's address one of the most common misunderstandings that keeps people from experiencing true transformation. Many people hear about morning affirmations and immediately think, oh, that's just repeating pretty phrases in the mirror and hoping the universe grants my wishes like some cosmic genie. This misconception has prevented countless individuals from accessing one of the most powerful mindset tools available to us. Affirmations aren't wishes or magical incantations. They're not about convincing the universe to give you something you don't have. They're powerful reminders to your subconscious mind about who you truly are and what you're genuinely capable of. Truths that life's challenges and disappointments may have buried under layers of doubt and limitation. If you found value in today's message about morning gratitude, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm on a mission to help you transform your life through these powerful practices, and I don't want you to miss a single video on this journey. Think about it this way. Throughout your life, you've been programmed with countless limiting beliefs. You're not good enough. Success is for other people. You always mess things up. These negative affirmations weren't delivered once. They were repeated. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of times, until your subconscious accepted them as truth. Your morning affirmations are simply a deliberate reprogramming process, replacing these false narratives with statements that align with your authentic potential. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that affirmations work not because they're changing the external world, but because they're changing my internal landscape, the filter through which I experience everything. When I affirm I am worthy of abundance, I'm not convincing the universe to suddenly make me worthy. I'm reminding myself of a truth that's always been there, beneath the noise of self-doubt. If you've tried affirmations before without seeing results, type "ready to try again" in the comments. There's a specific approach to making them work that most people miss entirely, and I want to share that with you now. Here's something fascinating I've observed in my own journey and in working with thousands of others. That critical inner voice we all experience, it doesn't just appear randomly throughout the day. It has a specific pattern. It wakes up before you do. It's often the very first program that runs in your mental operating system each morning. You know that voice. The one that immediately reminds you of everything you haven't accomplished, everything you're lacking, every mistake you've made. You're not there yet. You're not enough. You're too late. This silent saboteur loves mornings, doesn't it? Before your conscious mind has fully awakened, it's already planted seeds of doubt, inadequacy, and limitation. But here's the breakthrough realization that transformed my own mindset. That voice isn't speaking truth. It's simply running a habitual thought pattern. It's like an old record that keeps playing, not because the music is good, but because no one has bothered to change it. The hidden truth is that this voice has no actual authority unless you grant it permission to define your day. When you understand the mechanics behind this mental programming, you gain the power to intervene at the most crucial moment, those first conscious minutes of your morning. This is where the real transformation begins. By inserting intentional, positive affirmations precisely when that negative voice typically dominates, you're essentially changing the channel on your mental radio. Think of affirmations as mental vitamins, a perfect analogy shared by Joseph Murphy in his groundbreaking work. You don't take vitamins because you're already sick. You take them preventatively to strengthen your physical immunity against whatever pathogens you might encounter throughout your day. Affirmations function in exactly the same way for your mental and emotional well-being. These morning declarations of truth build what psychologists now call psychological immunity, the ability to maintain emotional equilibrium when faced with challenges, criticism, or setbacks. The science behind this is compelling. When you consistently affirm positive truths about yourself and your capabilities, you're actually creating new neural pathways that become your brain's default response in moments of stress. Behind every confident, resilient person is often this invisible practice, a deliberate mental nutrition program that strengthens their inner landscape before they step into the outer world. The most successful people I know aren't necessarily those who never face doubt or fear. They're those who've learned to fortify their minds against these inevitable challenges. While you can't control every circumstance you'll encounter today, you absolutely can control the mental and emotional resources you bring to those circumstances. That's the profound power of morning affirmations, not as magical thinking, but as practical psychological preparation for whatever life presents. If this approach to mental wellness resonates with you, type mental vitamins in the comments. I'd love to know who understands this powerful concept. Now let me share with you the simplest, most effective morning affirmation practice I've discovered, one that takes less than 60 seconds but creates ripples of positive impact throughout your entire day. Sometimes the most profound transformations come from the simplest practices. This is especially true for morning gratitude. When I first discovered this approach, I was skeptical. It seemed too basic to create the kind of breakthroughs I was seeking. But the revelation came when I understood that simplicity is precisely what makes this practice so powerful. Here's the essence of it. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, before you scroll through notifications, before you mentally rehearse your to-do list, take one deep breath and say 2 words. Thank you. That's it. No elaborate ritual, no complicated mantra, just genuine gratitude expressed in its purest form. The phenomenal impact of this minimal practice comes from its ability to instantly shift your vibrational frequency. In quantum physics terms, you're literally altering the electromagnetic field of your heart and brain. This isn't metaphysical speculation. HeartMath Institute researchers have documented how gratitude creates immediate, measurable changes in our heart rhythm patterns and nervous system coherence. Those 2 simple words, thank you, send a powerful signal to both your subconscious mind and the universe. I'm ready to receive. Gratitude opens the door to abundance. It creates a state of receptivity that allows blessings, opportunities, and solutions to flow into your experience. As Joseph Murphy brilliantly observed, gratitude is the open door through which the infinite supply is poured. But here's where most people encounter a hidden obstacle in their practice. They approach affirmations like a mechanical exercise, robotically repeating phrases without the essential ingredient that activates their power, genuine emotion. The breakthrough comes when you understand that effective affirmations aren't just about the words themselves, but about the feeling state they generate within you. When you say your morning affirmations, speak them as if they're already true, because on a spiritual level they are. You're not creating something from nothing, you're simply aligning with what already exists in potential form. This perspective completely transforms how you approach your practice. Instead of half-heartedly mumbling, "I am abundant," while your inner critic scoffs, feel the truth of your inherent abundance. Perhaps it's in the air filling your lungs, the comfort of your bed, the sunrise painting the sky, whatever allows you to genuinely connect with that feeling of abundance, however momentarily. This emotional connection is what distinguished masters like Joseph Murphy understood about manifestation long before modern neuroscience confirmed it. Your subconscious mind responds primarily to emotionalized thoughts. When your affirmations carry the energy of genuine feeling, they become instructions that your deeper mind accepts and begins to manifest in your outer reality. If you've experienced the difference between mechanical affirmations and those infused with authentic feeling, write "feeling is believing" in the comments. Now let me share with you some specific affirmations that carry the dual vibration of gratitude and abundance, phrases that, when felt deeply, each morning create a resonance that the universe naturally responds to. The most powerful morning affirmations begin with acknowledging the most fundamental abundance we often take for granted, the miracle of life itself. Consider this. You woke up this morning. That alone is extraordinary. Millions of people didn't receive that blessing today. When you begin your practice by saying, "I'm grateful for this new day. Every breath I take is a blessing," you're not just repeating pleasant words. You're acknowledging a profound truth that immediately shifts your perspective. Breathing is something most of us never consciously think about. It happens automatically without effort or attention. Yet in that simple, rhythmic exchange lies one of the greatest miracles, the perfect orchestration of systems that keep you alive moment by moment. When you make this recognition the foundation of your morning practice, something remarkable happens. Your awareness expands from what's lacking to what's already abundantly present. This perspective shift creates what psychologists call cognitive reframing. You're literally rewiring how your brain perceives your current reality. Instead of starting your day from a deficit mindset, what's missing, what's wrong, what's needed, you begin from a foundation of existing abundance. This seemingly small pivot creates ripple effects throughout your entire day. Now let's build on this foundation with affirmations that open you to receive even more. One of my favorites comes directly from Joseph Murphy's teachings. Everything I need flows to me effortlessly. This declaration acknowledges a fundamental spiritual principle, that the universe operates through a law of effortless giving, much like nature provides oxygen without struggle or striving. Pair this with, "I am open to receive all the good the universe has prepared for me," and you're essentially creating what I call permission slips for abundance. Many people unconsciously block blessings because they don't feel worthy of receiving or believe that struggle is necessary for reward. These affirmations directly counter those limiting beliefs. The revelation that transformed my own practice was understanding that these statements work even when, especially when, current evidence seems to contradict them. Why? Because they operate on the level of quantum possibility rather than physical manifestation. Even if your current circumstances don't reflect abundance, these affirmations acknowledge that on a quantum level infinite potential exists, and you're simply aligning with what's already true in the field of all possibilities. This concept of alignment, rather than creation, is subtle but transformative. You're not trying to force something new into existence through mental effort. You're simply tuning your personal frequency to match what already exists in potential form. It's like adjusting your radio dial to receive a broadcast that's always been transmitting. You don't create the broadcast. You simply position yourself to receive it clearly. If you're beginning to see how these permission slip affirmations can open new channels of abundance in your life, type "I'm open to receive" in the comments below. Now let's explore another powerful morning affirmation that specifically targets your sense of purpose and meaning, one that, when practiced consistently, begins to reveal opportunities you might otherwise miss entirely. One of my personal favorite morning declarations focuses on aligning with your deeper purpose. My life is filled with opportunities that align with my purpose. This seemingly simple statement contains extraordinary power, particularly when repeated during those receptive morning moments. When I first began incorporating this into my practice, I witnessed a fascinating phenomenon that I've since seen replicated in thousands of others who've adopted this approach. Within days of consistent practice, you'll begin noticing what appear to be coincidences, a book recommendation that arrives at precisely the right moment, an unexpected introduction to someone with exactly the expertise you need, a seemingly random invitation that leads to a profound breakthrough. These synchronicities aren't actually new or sudden. They represent a perceptual shift in your awareness. If this morning gratitude practice resonated with you, take a second to hit that like button. It helps spread this message to others who might need exactly these words today. The hidden truth is that these opportunities were always present in your environment, but your brain's reticular activating system, the neural network that filters the millions of inputs bombarding your senses every moment, simply wasn't programmed to notice them. When you consistently affirm purpose-aligned opportunities, you're essentially reprogramming this filtering system to highlight what was previously invisible to your awareness. This revelation transforms how we understand manifestation. It's less about magically creating something from nothing and more about tuning your perceptual instruments to recognize what's already there. It's like adjusting the focus on a camera. Suddenly, what was blurry becomes crystal clear. Now let's explore something even more fundamental to your transformation journey: the blueprint power of your everyday words. This might be the most crucial mindset shift of all. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly affirming something with your words, creating the architectural plans for your reality with every statement you make. Every time you say, "I'm broke," you affirm lack. Every time you say, "Nothing ever works for me," you affirm stagnation. Every time you say, "I always get sick in winter," you're literally programming your subconscious to manifest illness when the seasons change. These aren't just harmless expressions of frustration. They are powerful instructions to your deeper mind about what to create and attract. The extraordinary discovery that changed everything for me was realizing that when you shift your words, your reality must follow. Not through some mystical process, but through concrete neurological and psychological mechanisms. Your subconscious mind doesn't evaluate the truth of what you say. It simply accepts and acts upon the impressions it receives repeatedly. This is why Joseph Murphy emphasized that casual, everyday speech might be the most important spiritual practice of all. The offhand comments you make while driving, the phrases you mutter when facing a challenge, the descriptions you give when friends ask how you're doing, these seemingly inconsequential moments are actually decisive turning points in your manifestation journey. If this perspective on the creative power of your words resonates with you, write "Words create worlds" in the comments section below. Now let's explore why morning affirmations hold such unique power compared to those spoken at other times of day, and how the transition between sleep and wakefulness offers a special gateway to reprogramming your deepest beliefs. There's a fascinating principle at work in our minds that neuroscientists have only recently begun to fully understand, but that spiritual teachers like Joseph Murphy recognized decades ago. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's physically happening and what's vividly imagined. This revelation transforms how we approach morning affirmations entirely. When you declare, "I am abundant," or "I am worthy of success" each morning, your subconscious processes these statements much like it would process actual experiences. It doesn't evaluate their truth based on your bank account or current circumstances. It simply accepts what it's repeatedly told and begins creating neural pathways that support this new programming. This is where the real alchemy of transformation occurs. As these neural pathways strengthen through consistent repetition, your brain naturally begins seeking evidence that confirms your new beliefs. You literally start noticing opportunities, resources, and connections that support your abundance, not because they suddenly appeared, but because your mind's filtering system has been reprogrammed to highlight them. The blueprint of your mind shifts subtly each day, reinforcing this new architecture of abundance thinking until it becomes your default state. What began as a conscious practice gradually becomes your unconscious reality. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. You're literally rewiring your neural circuitry one morning at a time. Now, let's explore why mornings hold such special power in this reprogramming process. There's something genuinely sacred about the transition from sleep to wakefulness. It's a liminal space, what anthropologists describe as a threshold between different states of being. You're emerging from the subconscious realm of sleep into the conscious reality of your day, and this precise moment offers unique access to deeper levels of mind. During this transition, the veil between your conscious and subconscious is temporarily thinned. Your brainwaves are shifting from theta to alpha to beta, moving from the dreaming state through a brief window of heightened receptivity before settling into your normal waking consciousness. This fleeting gateway provides extraordinary access for planting new thought seeds. The thoughts you entertain during these precious minutes are like seeds placed in extraordinarily fertile soil. They don't just influence your mood momentarily, they establish the growing conditions for your entire day. Each thought contains within it a vibrational blueprint that will attract similar frequencies as your day unfolds. This understanding transforms ordinary mornings into sacred opportunities. When you approach those first waking moments with reverence and intention, rather than grogginess and autopilot scrolling, you're essentially claiming your power as the conscious gardener of your mind. You're deciding what will grow in the garden of your consciousness, rather than allowing whatever random seeds happen to blow in. The profound simplicity of this practice belies its transformative potential. By choosing gratitude and abundance as your first conscious thoughts, you're establishing the vibrational template for everything that follows. You're saying to the universe, this is the frequency I choose to broadcast today, and the universe, operating through immutable laws, must respond in kind. If you're beginning to recognize your mornings as these sacred thresholds of possibility, type "sacred mornings" in the comments below. Now let's contrast this intentional morning practice with what most people unconsciously do when they first wake up. A pattern that virtually guarantees their day begins from a place of comparison, lack, and reactivity rather than abundance. Have you ever stopped to observe what most people do within the first 5 minutes of waking up? It's a revelation that completely transformed my own approach to mornings. The average person reaches for their phone almost immediately upon opening their eyes, often before they've even taken their first conscious breath of the day. This seemingly innocent habit creates a cascade of unintended consequences that shape everything that follows. Think about what happens in those critical moments. You're bombarded with notifications, messages demanding responses, social media updates triggering comparison, and headlines designed specifically to provoke emotional reactions. Before you've even fully transitioned into wakefulness, you've involuntarily surrendered your mental and emotional sovereignty to external forces. This unconscious ritual is essentially programming your mind for chaos, reactivity, and fragmentation right from the start. You're allowing yourself to be pulled in countless directions before establishing your own centered presence. It's like opening all the doors and windows of your home during a storm and wondering why everything inside gets scattered. The hidden truth behind this common pattern is that it creates a neurological state called attention residue. Your focus becomes fragmented across multiple concerns, reducing your cognitive capacity for the rest of the day. Neuroscience research confirms that this morning digital immersion triggers your brain's threat response system, activating stress hormones that can take hours to metabolize. The illuminating discovery that changed everything for me was learning that what happens externally is far less important than the internal foundation I establish first. By reaching for my phone immediately, I was essentially saying, the world's priorities are more important than my own inner alignment. This subtle decision set the tone for everything that followed. The alternative approach represents a profound paradigm shift in how you start your day. Before leaving your bed, before engaging with any external stimulus, take a moment to declare your energetic intentions. Today is full of blessings. I choose peace. I choose joy. I choose abundance. These aren't just pretty words. They're spiritual coordinates that set your internal GPS. This declaration acts like a sovereign boundary around your consciousness. It establishes that regardless of what messages, news, or challenges might be waiting, you've already decided the fundamental frequency from which you'll respond to them. It's not about denying reality or avoiding responsibilities. It's about approaching them from a centered, abundant foundation rather than a reactive, scattered one. What's happening on a quantum level is fascinating. These declarations actually create what physicists might call a coherent field around your energy system. Instead of your thoughts and emotions being randomly dispersed in various directions, they become aligned toward a unified purpose. This coherence is what allows synchronicities and aligned opportunities to find you more easily throughout your day. The transformation in your daily experience from this simple practice can be remarkable. The same external circumstances that might have triggered stress or overwhelm are now met with a fundamentally different internal response system. You've essentially pre-programmed resilience, clarity, and gratitude as your default settings rather than reactivity, confusion, and lack. If you recognize yourself in the common morning phone habit and feel ready to establish a new energetic foundation instead, type "New Morning Blueprint" in the comments below. Now let's explore a practical 3-part morning ritual that takes less than 5 minutes but creates profound shifts in your daily experience. A simple practice that anchors gratitude and abundance as your foundational states. Let me share with you a morning practice so simple yet profound that it's transformed the lives of thousands who've incorporated it into their daily routine. The beauty of this approach is that it requires no special equipment, no complicated steps, and takes less than 5 minutes of your time, yet its impact reverberates throughout your entire day in ways that often seem miraculous. This 3-part ritual begins before you even leave your bed. First, state 3. Specific things you're grateful for. The key insight I've discovered is that these don't need to be monumental blessings. In fact, there's something particularly powerful about acknowledging the seemingly ordinary gifts we typically overlook. Perhaps it's the comfort of your pillow, the warmth of your blanket, or simply the gift of another sunrise. When you direct your attention toward these simple blessings, you're establishing a foundation of abundance consciousness rather than scarcity thinking. The second part involves speaking 3 affirmations aloud. There's something transformative about actually hearing these declarations in your own voice rather than merely thinking them. Your auditory system processes information differently than your internal dialogue, creating stronger neural imprints. These spoken affirmations bypass your conscious mind's tendency to argue or doubt, delivering their message directly to your subconscious, where real change begins. But here's the revelation that took my own practice to another level. The third component of physical movement. When you pair your affirmations with deliberate physical gestures, you create what neuroscientists call embodied cognition. This integration of mind and body anchors your declarations in multiple sensory systems, simultaneously, dramatically increasing their impact on your neurology. Something as simple as placing your hand over your heart while affirming love, or extending your arms outward while declaring abundance, creates a multidimensional experience that mere words alone cannot achieve. This integration of gratitude, affirmation, and embodiment creates what I call a coherence cascade, an alignment of thought, word, and physical action that programs your entire being for abundance, rather than just your conscious mind. Let me share a story that illustrates just how powerful this simple shift can be. I worked with a woman who had developed the unconscious habit of beginning each day with the phrase, "Ugh, another day, another problem." Unsurprisingly, her days consistently unfolded with one challenge after another. Difficult clients, unexpected expenses, traffic delays, and countless irritations that seemed to validate her morning declaration. When she committed to changing just this one pattern, replacing her habitual complaint with another day, another blessing, the transformation began almost immediately. Within the first week, she reported receiving unexpected compliments from strangers, discovering solutions to long-standing problems, and encountering helpful people in situations where she previously met resistance. Within a month, she was offered a promotion she hadn't even applied for. The external circumstances of her life hadn't dramatically changed, but her perceptual filter had been completely recalibrated. This wasn't coincidence or magical thinking. It was a demonstration of a fundamental principle that Joseph Murphy articulated brilliantly. Your outer world must eventually conform to your persistent inner declarations. If this three-part morning practice resonates with you, type "morning transformation" in the comments below. Now, let me share something fascinating about how your words function energetically. They're literally tuning your frequency to either abundance or lack, and the universe responds accordingly. There's a powerful metaphor that transformed my understanding of how our words shape our reality, one that Joseph Murphy often used in his teachings. Your words function exactly like a radio dial, constantly tuning your consciousness to specific frequencies in the infinite broadcast spectrum of life. When you deliberately tune to gratitude's frequency through your morning declarations, something remarkable happens. You literally become incapable of simultaneously receiving on lack's wavelength. This isn't metaphysical poetry. It's the practical mechanics of consciousness. Just as your radio cannot play classical music and heavy metal on the same frequency simultaneously, your mind cannot entertain profound gratitude and desperate lack in the same moment. The wavelengths are fundamentally incompatible. They operate on different vibrational signatures that cannot coexist in your immediate experience. The breakthrough insight comes when you realize this tuning happens whether you're conscious of it or not. Every word you speak is adjusting your internal receiver, either aligning you with abundance or scarcity, possibility or limitation, peace or chaos. The universe doesn't judge these frequencies as good or bad. It simply responds to the broadcast you're transmitting by matching it with experiences of similar resonance. Behind the scenes of manifestation is this simple but profound principle. Energy attracts like energy. When your words consistently broadcast gratitude, you become a magnet for experiences, people, and circumstances that match that frequency. This explains why two people can encounter identical situations, yet experience them entirely differently. They're tuned to different stations of perception. Now, let's address a common misconception that prevents many people from embracing authentic gratitude practice. Some worry that focusing on gratitude means denying reality or adopting toxic positivity, pretending everything is perfect when it clearly isn't. This misunderstanding has kept countless people from experiencing the transformative power of genuine thankfulness. True gratitude isn't about ignoring life's challenges or difficulties. It's about making a deliberate choice about where to place your attention within those circumstances. It's acknowledging the duality that exists in almost every situation. The challenge and the opportunity, the loss and the lesson, the disappointment and the redirection. The revelation that changed everything for me was realizing that even in my most difficult moments, I possessed resources and blessings that others were actively praying to receive. I might not have had everything I ultimately desired, but I had skills awaiting expression, ideas seeking implementation, and perhaps most importantly, time to create what I sought. These weren't trivial consolations. They were genuine treasures hidden in plain sight, only invisible because I hadn't trained my perception to notice them. This balanced approach to gratitude creates what psychologists call realistic optimism, not denying problems, but refusing to give them exclusive control over your emotional state. It's recognizing that what you focus on expands, not because the other aspects disappear, but because your perception naturally magnifies what receives your consistent attention. The journey toward abundance isn't about ignoring limitations, but transcending them through a higher perspective. It's saying, yes, this challenge exists, and I choose to focus on the blessings that coexist alongside it. This simple shift creates psychological resilience that transforms how you navigate life's inevitable difficulties. If you've experienced the power of choosing gratitude within challenging circumstances, type balanced gratitude in the comments below. Now, let me reveal how this grateful perspective creates a magnetic energy field around you that naturally draws people, circumstances, and opportunities aligned with your highest good. There's something almost magical that happens when you begin your day in gratitude's vibration. Your entire energetic signature transforms. If we could see energy fields the way some sensitives do, we'd notice that a person immersed in genuine gratitude actually glows differently. This isn't metaphorical. The electromagnetic field of your heart literally changes its pattern when you're in a state of appreciation, creating what scientists at the HeartMath Institute call heart coherence. This coherent field acts like a powerful magnet in your interactions. Throughout the day, people unconsciously sense and respond to this frequency, often without understanding why they feel drawn to you or comfortable in your presence. I've witnessed countless examples of individuals who began their consistent morning gratitude practice and suddenly found themselves receiving unexpected help, encountering the right person at just the right moment, or being offered opportunities that previously seemed out of reach. What's happening behind the scenes is a fundamental principle of quantum physics. Like energy attracts like energy. When you broadcast the frequency of gratitude and abundance first thing in the morning, you become a natural attractor for experiences that match that vibration. Situations that once seemed to resist your efforts now align with your intentions. Doors that appeared firmly locked begin to open with surprising ease. The revelation that transformed my own journey was realizing this magnetism isn't something you need to enforce or manipulate. It's the natural byproduct of your authentic inner state. When gratitude becomes your morning foundation rather than an occasional response to good fortune, you're essentially rewiring your entire relationship with the universe. You're no longer pushing against life, but flowing with it. Let me share a practical 5-minute ritual that anchors this magnetic gratitude into your daily experience. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity and accessibility. Anyone can implement it, regardless of their circumstances, spiritual background, or previous experience with manifestation practices. Begin by thanking the universe before your feet even touch the floor. This simple acknowledgement, "Thank you for this new day," immediately establishes gratitude as your foundational state rather than an afterthought. Next, identify 3 specific things you're grateful for, no matter how seemingly insignificant. Perhaps it's the comfort of your bed, the sound of birds outside your window, or simply the gift of another sunrise. The specificity of these observations trains your mind to notice abundance in ordinary moments. Then, speak 3 empowering affirmations aloud. Remember, these aren't wishful thinking, but declarations of truth that already exists on some level. I am worthy of abundance. I attract positive opportunities effortlessly. My life unfolds with grace and ease. The vibration of your voice speaking these words creates a powerful imprint on your nervous system. Next comes an element many people overlook, but that psychology research confirms is extraordinarily powerful. Smile, even if you don't initially feel like it. This simple facial adjustment triggers a cascade of positive neurochemicals that shift your entire biochemistry. Your body doesn't know the difference between a spontaneous and intentional smile. It responds with the same release of endorphins either way. Finally, take 30 seconds to visualize your day unfolding beautifully. See yourself moving through challenges with grace, engaging in conversations with presence, and embodying the qualities you wish to express. This brief visualization creates a template that your subconscious mind works to align with throughout the day. If you've experienced the power of intentional morning practices in your own life, write "morning magnet" in the comments below. Now, let me share something fascinating about what happens when you begin expecting good things as a result of your consistent gratitude practice. One of the most profound transformations that occurs through this consistent morning practice is a fundamental shift in your expectations. After just a few weeks of beginning each day with gratitude and affirmations, you'll notice something remarkable happening. You'll start expecting good things, not in a naive or unrealistic way, but as a natural result of your recalibrated perception. You'll begin noticing synchronicities that once would have seemed like mere coincidences. You'll feel a lightness in your approach to daily challenges, and most importantly, you'll develop what psychologists call an optimistic explanatory style, interpreting events through a lens of possibility rather than limitation. This expectation of positive outcomes isn't just a pleasant emotional state, it's a creative force. As Joseph Murphy brilliantly observed, what you expect with confidence becomes your own self-fulfilling prophecy. Your expectations aren't passive hopes. They're powerful instructions to both your subconscious mind and the quantum field of all possibilities. They literally shape how energy coalesces into your physical experience. I've witnessed this phenomenon in thousands of people who've adopted this morning practice. A woman who'd struggled with chronic financial instability began expecting abundance each morning, and within weeks received an unexpected opportunity that doubled her income. A man who'd experienced a string of difficult relationships started his mornings expecting loving connections, and soon after met a partner who embodied the very qualities he'd been affirming. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that these weren't random strokes of luck, but the natural manifestation of a fundamental, universal principle. Energy follows expectation. When you genuinely expect something at the deepest level of your being, you unconsciously align every choice, perception, and action toward its fulfillment. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters millions of inputs, begins highlighting opportunities that support your expectation while filtering out contradictory evidence. Now, let's explore an even deeper dimension of this practice: the spiritual mechanics that make it so powerfully effective. Gratitude serves as a doorway to manifestation, while faith is the key that unlocks it. This metaphor offers profound insight into how the universe responds to your morning practice. When you express genuine thankfulness first thing in the morning, you're essentially opening a doorway between your current reality and the infinite field of possibilities. You're creating an energetic opening through which new blessings can enter your experience. But gratitude alone isn't enough. It must be paired with unwavering faith that what you're affirming is already yours in potential form. This faith isn't blind belief or wishful thinking. It's a deep knowing that transcends current appearances, a conviction that what you're declaring is already true on some level, even if not yet visible in your physical reality. When you walk through that doorway of gratitude each morning with the key of faith in hand, you create what spiritual teachers call an irresistible invitation, an energetic request that the universe must acknowledge and respond to. The quantum field doesn't discriminate between what exists physically and what exists as vibrant expectation in your consciousness. To the universe, your faith-filled declarations are already reality on the energetic level, simply awaiting physical manifestation through the law of divine timing. If you've experienced the power of expectation in transforming your experiences, type "expectation creates reality" in the comments below. Now, let's explore why gratitude expressed for simple, ordinary moments often creates more powerful shifts than focusing solely on major achievements or possessions. There's a profound secret about gratitude that often gets overlooked in our achievement-oriented culture. The most powerful form doesn't require grand accomplishments, expensive possessions, or extraordinary circumstances. Authentic gratitude thrives in the realm of simple awareness, in the quiet recognition of ordinary miracles that surround us every moment. This revelation transformed my own practice completely. I'd been focusing my gratitude primarily on major milestones, career achievements, relationship breakthroughs, financial gains. While appreciation for these experiences is certainly valuable, I discovered something remarkable when I shifted my attention to life's seemingly mundane gifts. The birds singing outside my window, the perfect temperature of my morning tea, the intricate pattern of veins on a leaf, or simply the miracle of my lungs drawing breath without any conscious effort. This shift toward appreciating simplicity creates what spiritual teachers call present moment abundance consciousness, a state of awareness that recognizes the extraordinary richness available in this exact moment, regardless of external circumstances or future desires. It bypasses the mind's tendency to postpone gratitude until some future achievement and anchors it firmly in the now, where true manifestation power exists. Joseph Murphy often emphasized this principle, noting that our ability to appreciate what appears ordinary directly correlates with our capacity to attract what seems extraordinary. It's as if the universe responds not to the magnitude of what we're grateful for, but to the authenticity and depth of the feeling itself. A genuine thank you for a perfect sip of coffee carries more manifestation power than a mechanical expression of gratitude for something grandiose that doesn't truly move you emotionally. This practice of finding abundance in simplicity creates a foundation of contentment that paradoxically accelerates the manifestation of your greater desires. It's a spiritual principle that often seems counterintuitive to our conventional understanding. The more deeply satisfied you are with what you already have, the more rapidly you attract what you ultimately desire. Now, let's explore a perspective shift that completely transforms how you experience every circumstance in your life. Imagine beginning each day with this profound belief. Life is happening for you, not to you. Every event, interaction, and circumstance, whether initially perceived as positive or negative, is actually operating in service to your highest good. This isn't about denying challenges or sugarcoating difficulties. It's about adopting what psychologists call an empowering interpretive framework, consciously choosing to view your experiences through a lens that grants you agency rather than victimhood. From this perspective, delays aren't frustrating obstacles, but examples of divine timing protecting you from something you can't yet see. Challenges aren't punishments, but growth catalysts containing precisely the lessons your soul currently needs. When you start your morning by declaring, "Everything that happens today is happening for my benefit," you create a cognitive filter that transforms how you process every subsequent experience. That difficult conversation becomes an opportunity to practice boundaries. That unexpected expense reveals where you need greater financial awareness. That physical discomfort guides you toward better self-care. The most extraordinary breakthrough comes when you realize this isn't just positive thinking. It's aligning with a deeper reality. At the quantum level, the universe is a perfectly orchestrated system where every apparent obstacle contains within it the seeds of an equivalent or greater benefit. Your morning declaration simply attunes your perception to this underlying truth. If you've experienced moments where what initially seemed like a setback later revealed itself as a blessing, type divine redirection in the comments below. Now let's explore why maintaining gratitude becomes most powerful precisely when circumstances make it most difficult to access, and how this spiritual paradox contains the key to your greatest breakthroughs. Your morning gratitude ritual serves as a powerful ignition system. It lights the flame of thankfulness within you. But the true mastery comes in maintaining that flame throughout your day, especially when life's inevitable challenges arise. Think of those morning affirmations as the match that starts the fire, while your ongoing attitudes, focus, and responses are the fuel that keeps it burning brightly hour after hour. Many people experience a beautiful state of appreciation during their morning practice, only to find it quickly dissipating when faced with a difficult coworker, an unexpected bill, or a traffic jam. This is precisely where the transformative journey deepens, in the gap between our peaceful morning intentions and our real-world responses. The hidden truth that most spiritual teachings miss is that gratitude becomes most powerful exactly when circumstances make it most difficult to maintain. Consider this perspective shift. Those challenging moments aren't obstacles to your gratitude practice. They're the advanced training ground where your practice develops true resilience. Just as muscles grow stronger under resistance, your capacity for gratitude expands. When tested by apparent adversity, these moments of challenge aren't interrupting your spiritual journey. They are your spiritual journey in its most potent form. Behind every master of manifestation is this unspoken wisdom. They've learned to maintain their frequency of appreciation not despite difficult circumstances, but through them. When you can hold that vibration of thankfulness while facing what others would label as problems, you access a level of creative power that most never discover. This brings us to a profound revelation that completely transformed my own relationship with gratitude. True thankfulness isn't primarily an emotional response to favorable conditions. It's a conscious choice that transcends your immediate feelings. It's a declaration of trust in the underlying perfection of life's unfolding, regardless of how things initially appear. When you make this pivotal mindset shift, something extraordinary happens. You're no longer at the mercy of external triggers, waiting for good things to happen before you can feel grateful. Instead, you become the sovereign creator of your emotional state, choosing gratitude as your response even before evidence of its wisdom appears. This doesn't mean denying authentic emotions like disappointment or frustration when they arise. It means developing the spiritual maturity to acknowledge those feelings while simultaneously declaring, "I trust even this challenging moment serves a purpose greater than I can currently see." This dual awareness, honoring your human experience while anchoring in higher perspective, creates a rare form of emotional intelligence that attracts extraordinary synchronicities. Joseph Murphy often emphasized this principle, noting that gratitude as a choice, rather than merely a reaction, is what distinguishes true masters of universal law. When you can sincerely say thank you for experiences that others would reject or resist, you're essentially signaling to the universe, "I trust the process completely." This level of surrender paradoxically grants you greater creative power. The journey toward this sovereign gratitude isn't always easy. It requires consistent practice and compassionate self-awareness. There will be days when maintaining that frequency feels impossible. Yet each time you choose thankfulness, despite challenging circumstances, you're strengthening neural pathways that eventually make gratitude your natural response rather than a forced discipline. If you've experienced the freedom that comes from choosing gratitude rather than waiting to feel grateful, type "grateful by choice" in the comments below. Now let me share a remarkable story that illustrates how this principle of chosen gratitude transformed one person's experience with what initially appeared to be a frustrating, even infuriating situation. I want to share a story that perfectly illustrates this principle in action, one that stayed with me for years because of its beautiful simplicity. There was a man who, like millions of others, absolutely despised his daily commute. Every morning and evening he'd find himself stuck in traffic, mentally calculating the minutes ticking away, feeling his blood pressure rise with each passing moment. This wasn't occasional frustration. It had become a deeply ingrained pattern, a daily ritual of complaint that poisoned both ends of his workday. Then, something happened that completely transformed his relationship with those traffic delays. He received a call that a close friend had been in a serious accident on that very same route, just minutes before he would have driven through that intersection. Had he not been delayed by traffic that day, he might have been directly involved in that collision himself. This revelation created what psychologists call a pattern interrupt, a sudden break in his habitual thinking that allowed a new perspective to emerge. From that day forward, whenever traffic slowed him down, instead of defaulting to frustration, he would take a deep breath and say, "Thank you. I don't know what this delay is protecting me from, but thank you." The profound insight in this story isn't that every traffic jam is literally saving you from an accident. It's that any circumstance we habitually label as negative might be serving a purpose we cannot yet perceive. This shift from resistance to acceptance, from complaint to gratitude, doesn't just change how we feel momentarily. It fundamentally alters our relationship with life's inevitable challenges. This perspective connects directly to a revolutionary understanding about abundance that Joseph Murphy emphasized throughout his teachings. True abundance doesn't begin with acquiring everything on your wish list. It starts with the profound recognition that you already possess more than enough to begin your journey toward greater prosperity. The clothes on your back, the roof over your head, the friends who support you, the skills you've developed, the lessons you've learned, especially the painful ones. These are all forms of wealth that exist in your life right now. Even your basic physical senses represent extraordinary riches that many would give anything to experience. This revelation completely transforms your manifestation journey. Instead of operating from a mindset of scarcity, constantly focusing on what's missing and what you lack, you begin from a foundation of existing abundance. You're no longer desperately trying to fill an empty cup. You're acknowledging a cup that's already partially filled and simply inviting more to flow in. When you begin your mornings by recognizing these present forms of abundance, something remarkable happens to your energetic signature. You shift from the frequency of need to the frequency of gratitude, and these vibrations attract entirely different experiences. Need perpetuates itself, creating more situations that trigger feelings of lack. Gratitude for what exists now creates an energetic invitation for similar or greater blessings to enter your experience. This mindset shift represents what spiritual teachers call the point of power, the precise moment when manifestation transitions from struggle to flow. When you genuinely recognize that abundance has already begun in your life, you stop living in scarcity consciousness and start living in alignment with universal provision. If this perspective on abundance, beginning with what you already have, resonates with you, type "abundant now" in the comments below. Now let's explore how gratitude actually transforms your perception of reality, allowing you to see possibilities and solutions that were previously invisible to your awareness. One of the most profound insights I've discovered on this journey is that gratitude isn't just a response to reality. It's a transformer of reality. This isn't metaphysical wishful thinking, but a psychological and neurological fact. When you Approach challenging circumstances from a foundation of thankfulness. You literally perceive different aspects of the situation than when you approach from frustration or lack. Neuroscience has confirmed what spiritual masters have taught for millennia. Our brains don't perceive objective reality, but rather a filtered version based on our dominant mental patterns. When you declare, "I am abundant," despite current financial limitations, you're not denying those circumstances. You're affirming a deeper truth about your potential rather than allowing temporary conditions to define your identity. This perspective shift creates what psychologists call cognitive flexibility, the ability to see multiple possibilities where others perceive only fixed problems. It's like changing the lens through which you view your entire life experience. The circumstances themselves may remain unchanged initially, but your relationship to them transforms completely, opening pathways to solutions that were previously invisible to your awareness. I witnessed this transformation in a woman who had struggled with chronic health challenges for years. Her breakthrough came not when her symptoms disappeared, but when she began declaring each morning, "I am grateful for my body's innate wisdom and healing capacity." This declaration didn't deny her physical reality, but affirmed a truth that existed alongside it: her body's remarkable ability to restore balance given the right conditions. Within weeks of this perception shift, she began noticing subtle improvements her previous mindset would have overlooked. Her sleep quality improved slightly. Her energy increased during certain parts of the day. Small wins became visible that had been obscured by her former focus on limitation. These recognitions created an upward spiral of positivity that eventually contributed to significant improvements in her condition. Let me share a practical exercise that can help you experience this perceptual shift directly. I call it the language transformation practice, and it's remarkably simple yet profound in its impact. Begin by identifying one specific area of your life where you currently feel some deficiency or limitation. Perhaps it's finances, relationships, career opportunities, or health. Notice the language you typically use when thinking or speaking about this area. Most of us default to statements like, "I don't have enough money," or "I never meet the right people," or "I can't seem to get ahead in my career." These statements aren't merely descriptions of your reality, they're active instructions to your subconscious mind about what to continue creating. Now, consciously transform that language into a gratitude-based declaration that acknowledges both your current reality and your openness to expansion. Instead of, "I don't have enough money," try, "I'm grateful I'm learning to receive more abundance." Instead of, "I never meet the right people," try, "I'm thankful for the relationships I have and the new connections that are finding their way to me." The energetic difference between these statements is remarkable. One drains your vital force, creating a sense of helplessness and stagnation. The other generates forward momentum, opening energetic pathways for new possibilities to enter your experience. One statement chains you to past patterns. The other liberates you toward future expansion. If you've noticed how different types of language affect your energy and momentum, type language creates reality in the comments below. Now, let's explore how gratitude and affirmations work together as perfect partners in your morning practice, each amplifying the effectiveness of the other in a beautiful synergistic dance. Gratitude and affirmations create a powerful synergy when practiced together. They're like dance partners, each enhancing the movements of the other. This partnership creates a unique rhythm in your consciousness that few people ever discover. Gratitude anchors you firmly in present appreciation, acknowledging and celebrating what already exists in your experience. Affirmations, meanwhile, project your consciousness toward future possibilities, declaring what is coming into manifestation through your deliberate intention. When these practices work in tandem during your morning ritual, something extraordinary happens. Gratitude provides the stable foundation from which your affirmations can launch, while affirmations extend the energy of thankfulness into new dimensions of possibility. It's like having both roots and wings, the grounding stability of appreciation for what is, combined with the expansive vision of what can be. Joseph Murphy described this dynamic beautifully when he wrote that gratitude opens the door, while affirmation invites the guest. Your thankfulness creates an energetic opening through which the blessings you're affirming can more easily enter your experience. Without gratitude, affirmations can sometimes feel hollow or disconnected from reality. Without affirmations, gratitude might keep you content with current conditions without inviting greater expansion. Together, they create what I call a manifestation momentum, a rhythm of receiving and expanding, appreciating and growing that naturally attracts unexpected blessings into your life. This rhythm mimics the fundamental pattern of the universe itself, the eternal dance between being and becoming, between what is and what is emerging. The revelation that transformed my own practice was discovering that this partnership doesn't need to be confined to your formal morning ritual. You can weave this synergy throughout your entire day through what I call gratitude triggers. Small, consistent cues that prompt momentary thankfulness regardless of what's happening around you. These triggers can be integrated into activities you already do dozens of times daily. For example, every time you take a sip of water, whisper a silent thank you for this life-sustaining element. Each time you unlock your phone, an action most of us perform countless times daily, pause for 3 seconds to identify something you genuinely appreciate in that moment. Whenever you catch a glimpse of your reflection, in a mirror, window, or screen, affirm something positive about yourself. The transformation potential of these micro-practices is remarkable. They create what neuroscientists call pattern interrupts in your habitual thinking. Rather than moving through your day on autopilot, predominantly focused on problems or lacking, these triggers consistently redirect your attention to abundance and appreciation. Over time, they rewire your default perception to naturally notice blessings rather than obstacles. What makes these triggers so powerful is their frequency and integration into everyday moments. Unlike a morning practice that happens once daily, these gratitude cues might occur 20, 50, or even 100 times throughout your day. Each one is like a small adjustment to your energetic rudder, gradually shifting the direction of your entire life experience. A client once shared how this approach completely transformed her relationship with technology. She had been feeling increasingly stressed by constant notifications and digital demands. By transforming each phone check into a gratitude moment, she not only reduced her anxiety, but began experiencing her digital connections as blessings rather than burdens. The device itself became a consistent reminder to return to appreciation. If you've discovered how small moments of gratitude throughout the day can create major shifts in your experience, share gratitude triggers in the comments below. Now, let's explore a powerful morning perspective shift that completely transformed my own relationship with daily tasks and obligations, moving from resistance to reverence through one simple word change. Let me share with you one of the most transformative perspective shifts I've discovered for those challenging mornings when your mind immediately floods with everything you haven't accomplished. You know those days when you open your eyes and before you've even stretched, your brain presents you with a perfectly organized list of uncompleted tasks, unreached goals, and all the ways you feel behind in life. This mental ambush can instantly create a heavy weight of inadequacy before your feet even touch the floor. I struggled with this pattern for years until discovering a simple but profound morning declaration that changed everything. Thank you for one more chance to get it right. This single sentence creates what psychologists call a cognitive reframe. It transforms the identical circumstances from pressure to opportunity, from judgment to possibility. The revelation behind this approach is recognizing that each morning truly is a reset point in your journey, a fresh canvas where previous limitations need not determine today's creation. Instead of seeing today as yet another chance to fall short, you're acknowledging it as a gift, another opportunity to align more closely with your authentic potential. When I began implementing this practice, I noticed an immediate shift in my morning energy. Rather than starting from a place of deficit, all the ways I wasn't enough, I began from a foundation of abundance, the precious gift of another day, to course correct, to learn, to grow. This subtle inner adjustment transformed my productivity, not by adding pressure, but by removing it. The irony of manifestation is that we often create more effectively from peace than from urgency. Behind the scenes of this simple declaration is a profound spiritual truth that Joseph Murphy emphasized throughout his teachings. Genuine gratitude always precedes miraculous transformation. When you thank the universe for another chance before you've earned it or deserved it, you're operating from a higher consciousness that naturally attracts aligned experiences. Now let's address something that makes many people hesitant about morning affirmations: the initial awkwardness and seeming disconnect between what you're declaring and your current circumstances. There's something undeniably humorous about standing there in your pajamas, hair defying gravity, morning breath in full effect, staring at your sleepy reflection while solemnly declaring, "I am radiant and successful. The universe supports me in every way." The beautiful revelation is that this apparent contradiction doesn't diminish your practice, it actually enhances it. When you can embrace this imperfection, even find genuine humor in it, you're demonstrating a profound spiritual understanding. The universe responds to your energy, not your appearance or current circumstances. This willingness to declare your desired state before external evidence supports it is the essence of true faith. Not blind belief, but a knowing that transcends temporary conditions. The universe doesn't require you to look polished or have everything figured out before responding to your intentions. It simply responds to the authentic vibration you're broadcasting, regardless of your outward circumstances. I've witnessed countless breakthroughs happen for people precisely when they stopped waiting to feel ready or worthy before beginning their practice. There's a powerful authenticity in declaring abundance while acknowledging your humanity, your messy hair, your imperfect life, your works in progress. This genuine self-acceptance creates an energetic integrity that the universe naturally responds to. If you've experienced both the humor and the power of morning affirmations despite outward circumstances, type "perfectly imperfect" in the comments below. Now let's explore how visualization can dramatically amplify your morning affirmations, creating a multi-sensory experience that imprints more deeply on your subconscious mind. When you speak your morning affirmations, there's a powerful way to amplify their impact exponentially: visualization. This isn't just a nice addition to your practice, it's a fundamental accelerator that can transform results dramatically. Our subconscious mind doesn't primarily communicate through words. It speaks the language of images, feelings, and sensory experiences. When you combine verbal affirmations with vivid mental imagery, you're essentially engaging multiple channels of your brain simultaneously, creating what neuroscientists call whole brain synchronization. This is where the real transformation magic happens. Rather than just saying, "I am financially abundant," close your eyes and see yourself smiling as you pay bills with ease. Imagine your phone lighting up with notifications of unexpected income. Visualize opportunities arriving that perfectly match your skills and passions. Feel the emotions these scenarios would generate: the relief, the joy, the gratitude, the excitement. What's happening on a neurological level is fascinating. Your brain's visual cortex activates, your emotional centers engage, and your body begins producing neurochemicals that match these imagined experiences. You're literally creating a new, internal movie that your subconscious mind begins accepting as a plausible reality. And here's the revelation that changed everything for me. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and an actual one. Both create neural pathways that influence your perceptions, decisions, and actions. Joseph Murphy emphasized this principle throughout his work, noting that the subconscious mind will bring to pass any picture held in the mind and backed by faith. Your morning visualizations essentially provide the detailed blueprint that your deeper mind works to manifest throughout your day. The more sensory details you include, sights, sounds, physical sensations, even smells, the more compelling this blueprint becomes. This practice transforms abstract concepts into concrete experiences that your mind can grasp and work toward. Instead of affirmations floating in mental space, they become embodied visions with emotional resonance. This shift makes them infinitely more powerful as creative forces in your reality. Now let me share another perspective transformation that can revolutionize how you experience every aspect of your daily life. The subtle yet profound shift from have to get to language. This might seem like mere semantics, but it represents a fundamental realignment in how you perceive your entire existence. Most people move through their days with language centered around obligation. I have to go to work. I have to deal with these emails. I have to interact with difficult people. This framing unconsciously positions life's activities as burdens rather than opportunities, creating a subtle but persistent undercurrent of resistance in your energy field. When you deliberately shift this language to, I get to go to work, I get to respond to these emails, I get to interact with and learn from different personalities, something remarkable happens. The identical activities are transformed from obligations into privileges, from weights into gifts. This isn't about denying challenges, but about recognizing the hidden blessings within them. This simple word change represents a profound gratitude practice that can be implemented throughout your day. It acknowledges that what we often label as ordinary responsibilities are actually extraordinary opportunities that many would give anything to experience. The ability to work, to communicate, to move your body, to solve problems. These aren't burdens, but privileges granted to you in this lifetime. If you've experienced how this tiny shift from have to get to can transform ordinary moments into sacred experiences, type privilege perspective in the comments below. Now let's explore how your morning gratitude practice creates a foundation not just for your day, but for your entire life's trajectory, and how consistent small shifts create massive transformation over time. As we come to the close of our time together, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey into the transformative power of morning gratitude. The simple practices we've explored today aren't just nice spiritual concepts. They're practical tools that can fundamentally shift your experience of life, one morning at a time. The beautiful thing about this approach is that you don't need to implement everything perfectly all at once. Begin with just one element tomorrow morning. Perhaps that simple thank you before your feet touch the floor, or the powerful shift from have to get to language. Allow your practice to grow organically as you experience its benefits firsthand. If you resonated with this message and found value in these insights, I'd love for you to become part of our community of conscious creators. Hit that subscribe button so we can continue exploring these transformative principles together. Our channel is dedicated to bridging ancient wisdom with modern neuroscience, helping you create a life of authentic abundance from the inside out. I'm genuinely curious, which part of today's message felt most aligned with your current journey? If something specific resonated with your heart, type "Morning Miracles Activated" in the comments. Below, your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. If you found this conversation valuable, that like button is a beautiful way to express gratitude. It helps these ideas reach others who might benefit from them too. That's how we create ripples of positive transformation together. For those ready to go deeper into this practice, I've created a video right here that explores how to maintain your gratitude frequency even during life's biggest challenges. It's the perfect next step in your journey. Click and join me there to discover how to transform obstacles into opportunities through the power of thankful energy. Until next time, remember, every morning is a new chance to align with the abundant universe that's always waiting to respond to your gratitude. The miracles are already in motion.